Today we're going to actually show you a chest tube insertion on one of our chest tube simulators. And before we get started with the procedures, we're going to make sure we have all the necessary items that we have. First and foremost, we want to make sure we have our chest tube. In addition to that, we're going to want to have 3 different curved Kelly clamps for our procedure. And as well as we're going to have an 11-blade scalpel. We're going to have suture material to actually tie down our chest tube. In addition to, we're going to have this football-styled Christmas tree adapter so we can attach our chest tube up to the Pleurovac itself. Finally, we're going to have our gauze, which is severed in half to place over that chest tube, in addition to tape, which is used to seal and secure that chest tube to the chest wall. So we're going to go ahead and approach our patient. And our landmarks that we're going to use for chest tube placement, we're going to look at the mid-axillary line, and we're going to line up that rib space with the nipple line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify that nipple line. I'm going to come down the lateral thorax, and I'm going to palpate that interspace that lines up mid-axillary and in line with that nipple. After I go ahead and palpated my landmarks, finding out where the rib spaces are, I'll go ahead and inject overlying that rib with lidocaine. Then, subsequently, what I'm going to do is I'm going to palpate my rib. I know my interspace. My interspace is lining up right with the nipple line. I'm going to make an incision over the rib below that interspace. And I make a nice incision. I think most people kind of fall short and make very short incisions. So I want to make a nice, good incision. Subsequent to that, I want to go ahead and prepare my chest tube. I'm going to go ahead and put a Kelly clamp on the distal end of the chest tube. And then on the proximal end, I want to put another clamp so that if I actually insert the chest tube and actually get blood return, I'm not getting it all over myself and the floor. Okay, so that's all prepared. Now, I'm going to go back to my incision here. I'm going to go ahead and palpate in. I'm going to spread a little bit, use my rib spreaders to spread that laceration. And then what I want to do is I'm going to go into that interspace, going over the ribs in order to avoid that neurovascular bundle. And I'm in. I'm going to go ahead and, once I'm in, I'm going to go ahead and spread that pleural space open. You might see a gush of air or blood at this time. I'm going to insert my finger into that hole so I can keep my track so I don't go into a false track. And then subsequently, I'm going to insert that that chest tube into that hole. And as I glide that in, I'm going to pull my finger out. I'm going to go ahead and remove my Kellys. And I'm going to insert my chest tube in, ensuring that the most proximal fenestration is actually inside that chest cavity. And now that it's inserted. And now I'll go ahead and unleash this clamp, being careful. I will hook it up to my Pleurovac.